If you ask some of my chaplains why they became chaplains, it's because they heard their pastors preach again and again the importance of doing ministry outside the walls of their church. For some of our chaplains, the preaching was that they should be outside the church, but their congregation doesn't always do that in the way that it put a burning desire for these chaplains to do so. So becoming involved in the chaplaincy program was a way that they were able to live out the call to faith that they had been hearing and experiencing in their Christian faith development. So I think that what I experience from congregations in this city is a struggle to know how to do that ministry outside of the walls of their church. Milwaukee is not unique in the fact that many of our congregations are declining in size, and fewer people are attending worship. And in that kind of a reality, when fewer and fewer people are attending church, it gets harder for churches to maintain their ministries. And so to have the tension between supporting the current ministry, but also then providing outreach in the community becomes a tough thing. As the congregations dwindle in size, it becomes harder to make an impact. You know, when you start worshiping 40, 30, 20 people, to be able to feel like you can have an impact becomes a lot more difficult. It's one of the things that has made the faith-based initiatives in these districts around the city and with the chaplaincy programs so appealing is that many of these smaller congregations who might not have otherwise a way to make a broad impact on the city can now work together with other congregations, many of whom are other smaller congregations, to do the kind of outreach that they believe the city needs. And so I think our city is ripe with the opportunity for more and more congregations to come together in particular neighborhoods to meet the needs of our city and of the people in our city. And there are some congregations that are very big and they're thriving and they are able to do great outreach ministry on their own, and that's fantastic. But for the many congregations that don't have that ability, and who are scared or who don't know how or where to even begin, I think becoming involved in something like the faith-based initiatives in our police districts or becoming a partner with the chaplaincy program is a way for them to do that call to ministry. It's difficult. I was a congregational pastor, and in my congregation, I had a small congregation, and they were getting older and older, and so their ability and capacity to do outreach outside of the building was diminishing every day. And so I understand the challenges that provides, and it's one of the reasons I initially got us connected with the faith-based initiative, because I thought we will have a greater potential for impact with just if I have a small handful. I got 5 people from my congregation. If it was 5 people just doing their own thing in our neighborhood, that makes this much of an impact. But if my 5 people can join these 3 and those 2 and all of these other different groups around the city to create an organization that's 35, 40 strong, that is able to make a better impact. And so this city that is known for being segregated, my prayer and my challenge is that we would start working together more and to share our ministries and share our resources because our city needs us to do that. And many of our congregations, and not just Christian, but our Muslim and Jewish brothers and sisters as well, they also have the same tension of how to live faithfully and to reach out into the community. And there are things all of us can do together to better our communities. And there are ways that we can share the resources needed to help make Milwaukee safer and healthier and more hopeful. My hope for Milwaukee is that we would regain our commitment to families and education and to caring for one another, the things that made us well known to the rest of the country at the turn of the century and into the 50s. I think we have this history of being able to take care of each other and making sure that all of our needs were met. And so my hope for Milwaukee is that we would reclaim that spirit and work together, that we would tear down these barriers that we put up between each other, be they barriers of language or barriers of class or race or religion. I believe that we can work together. I believe that there is a possibility for a united community working together, but it is going to take a lot of work and a lot of humility. I think a lot of people have to sacrifice time and resources in order to make the equitable sharing of opportunities and resources for others. But I truly believe that when Paul in the Bible talks about the body of Christ, Paul says that we are all part of the body of Christ, and when one member suffers, we all suffer. And when one member rejoices, we all rejoice. I believe that, and so I believe that in Milwaukee, when there are parts of our community that are suffering so deeply, this whole community suffers for it. We may not recognize it, and we may not understand the full toll that takes on us, but I believe that it is harming us. And so until we're able to lift up the bottom, to raise people's spirits, to bring employment up, and to reduce incarceration of our young Black men, to when we can ensure that more children are graduating from high school and going on to secondary education or to trade programs, when we can start doing all of those things together, I think that we will see Milwaukee reclaiming itself as, this incredible city. And I believe that it's possible, but I believe that it will take a lot of work for us, a lot of prayerfulness, a lot of hard work, and commitment over time, but we can do it.